Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back. It's
been a bit.
been a hot minute. A good hot minute.
I think it's been 5 weeks. That's not terrible.
Not terrible, but the amount of stuff
That happened in
and
those 5
events.
weeks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just said we're living in the real life Truman Show.
Oh, yeah.
Like somebody is out here.
Where
with a
is
bunch
the
of cameras.
door?
Or maybe punked, like, where's Ashton Kutcher
Yes.
gonna come out? I think that's the
been
deal.
a crazy 5 weeks. We got hit with a
Yes.
hurricane, and that took about 3 of our weeks.
That really did. I mean,
Yeah.
just everybody helping out.
Just community
involvement. Yes. That was a lot.
And it felt, with all that going on, this felt ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, to spend the time to talk about this stupid politics.
Yes.
When we had people
Agreed.
need.
Like
Just felt
people
a little
needing supplies
Yeah.
to live
Water.
and function and
Yeah.
food. Yeah. So, okay. Before we get into this, we need to chat about our sponsor
Yes.
real fast. Solid Frontier Coffee.
Frontier
with
Coffee.
The 47
Victory Pack.
because we're winners, friends.
If you don't know Frontier Coffee, this is where we are.
Yes.
He is a patriot. Everything is patriot named. So we have Trumpkin Spice Coffee, which is so good.
So yummy.
No quarter.
Yep.
I actually don't know anything about no quarter.
It's great. It's like a good middle of the row coffee.
All right. And then
flavor.
the Trumpkin Spice candle. Look at that
Not awesome.
label. What?
You can get it online
At frontiercoffee.com.
$47.
And it would be, support our local.
Support local,
Yeah.
support veteran
sponsor.
owned. Yeah, our podcast sponsor, all of the things, support and buy.
That's right.
Yes. So back to the craziness that's been jam-packed in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We had a hurricane hit, which was wild. East Tennessee, none of us
where
were,
we live.
Yes.
So the next town over.
Yeah. Nobody was prepared for this.
No.
It was really awful,
Yeah.
to be honest. But I think a huge takeaway was the fact that the amount of community involvement that happened and took place, and mind you, because FEMA and the government were nowhere to be found.
Trash. All the stuff that's come out about FEMA since then, just
mind-blowing. Not surprising.
No.
But
we had been saying this for so long, how terrible they are.
And to see it firsthand and right in front of your face, just down the road, I think really puts it into perspective.
And open people's eyes, I think, too.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. The fact that everybody was saying, well, FEMA's not helping or the government's not coming to help because this is red country, it's Trump country. And then come to find out, FEMA officials are getting fired. Yeah. Because they literally did that.
They did.
What? Who doesn't help another human being with just basic needs because
I just don't even know how, as a person, you could walk by someone's house and be like, yeah, I'm not helping them.
Pass on yours. Let me move to the next one.
Yeah. How do you sleep at night? I don't even know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that happened, right? Then you've got you hate to say sides, but it is a side.
Yeah.
On Republican conservative side, you've got Trump and Jason Aldean and all of these people giving millions of dollars very quickly to hurricane victims.
Yeah.
They paused. No, they didn't pause events, but they used the events to promote the coverage.
Because as soon as right after we got hit, they got the second hurricane
in Florida.
So.
Yes. And then we were just old news at that point. I mean, Brian and I watched NBC News 2 or 3 days after Hurricane Helene hit, and we were not anywhere on a headline.
And I mean, as of right now, there's still people that are homeless.
Yes,
that have
correct.
Nothing.
Correct. So you had that happening on one side. And then all of a sudden you had celebrities coming out of the woodwork.
Which we said, I think the last time we talked, we said, watch, now here come the celebrities.
Yes.
Because once Diddy
was arrested.
Yes, once Diddy was arrested, we're like, here they come. Here they come. I mean, now we'll get to see who's on the list.
Well, you saw some of them, didn't you?
You did.
And then to for the kicker of all of this come full circle, now that we know right? Is that right? SEC records
Yes.
show where the money went for
Yep.
Kamala's campaign, raised over $1 billion. And in the last couple days alone, 20 million of that went to celebrities.
Yeah. And she's 20 million
In debt.
in debt. I don't even know how you spend that much money.
Okay.
And when you looked at the numbers, what they spent.
$1 million. Was it how many million for Beyonce? And she was on there for 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
She didn't even do a concert.
Who was it that was like, well, for 3 M&Ms you get a J-Lo, and
Yes.
for 2 J-Los you get a Cardi B. 2 Cardi B's get you a Beyonce.
It's wild.
I was just like, what is happening? Can you imagine?
I
haven't looked. Have you seen the records for Trump? The people that have gone for Trump. I'd be curious to see how many did it just because they wanted to do it.
Well, isn't that the point of an
That's
endorsement?
the point of an endorsement.
You don't pay somebody to come and speak on your behalf.
They
or
also paid
you.
Influencers.
They absolutely millions of dollars on
to influencers just to talk about her campaign, even if they didn't support her. Just, I mean,
fake.
Yeah. So to pay someone to endorse you, just, I don't know, there's something dirty about that. Well, like, I don't feel like Hulk Hogan.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
You can't tell me. I know for a fact Hulk Hogan, Dana White,
Jason Aldean,
all of them, none of them were paid.
No, it was an honor
to speak or to endorse Trump or people down the party lines.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And those are public records, so it's not like we're just saying, oh, they would never do that.
Right.
It's part of, now, I'm not saying that they maybe don't pay for like a logistic thing, like
maybe logistics, or even if maybe somebody's going to do an actual concert,
right,
like that. But
I still don't think they did.
I don't think they did. Yeah. But I mean, that to me was bananas. Who it was every single day.
Yeah.
It was like Cardi B, then Beyonce, and J-Lo.
And it's so interesting that that was their play, when the American people that actually go out and vote do not relate to them at all. And did you see Oprah today? Saying Oprah, when she said, I am a working American. If I didn't need the money, I wouldn't be here doing The View working. I have to work every day to pay my bills. And I mean, talk about being disconnected from reality.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Well, that's the thing.
She makes more in a week than the average American makes in a year. She makes $73,000
so far removed.
A week.
Yes. That's crazy.
And that's after taxes, $73,000 a week. And the average American makes $78,000 a year. What?
That just goes to show, number one, that was such a huge reality check, I think, for all of Hollywood and celebrities, singers, whoever. Like, the American people give 0 Fs about your opinion and who you're voting for. Yes. Because the Oprahs and the Whoopies and the Beyoncés, honestly, they don't care about who's going to be president. It doesn't matter to them, because if they're making $75,000 a week, they can afford groceries.
Yeah. But they say, Elon said, he goes, what happens is a big director calls them.
Right.
And says, hey, it would be great if you did this endorsement. Huh. And that is, you do the endorsement or you no longer get a role in Hollywood. That's how it is. Because it's never directly brought out, like, if you don't do this, you won't get a role. But if you don't do this, you won't get a role ever again. I'm just like, so they're bribed.
Yes.
And, I mean,
and to an extent with their livelihood, right? I mean, if that's their career.
So when you see the ones that do come out and back Trump, whatever, you do that you know, like, they put everything they have on the line.
Well, it's just like RFK Jr.'s wife, right? Like Cheryl Hines. I mean, that's why, to an extent, she was nervous about the whole alliance in the beginning. She's saying, I'm never going to work again in Hollywood.
Right.
But for her to come full circle and say, we need to do this.
Yeah.
That is such a testament, I feel like, to what she knew was more important.
Yeah. And who's the guy that just did Reagan, the Reagan movie?
Oh my gosh.
Well, he said that his Reagan did not get to have a commercial aired on any major network.
Yes.
Because he did it. And he goes, it wasn't. He goes, it was Reagan.
Was it Dennis Quaid?
Yeah, and he said the movie had nothing to do with it, but because it came out during this election time, they would not. They were like, they blackballed him. It was like, nope, you can't show any of that.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, and to continue on this, it's so funny and very telling when you have people. You've got views on one side and people going on platforms such as obviously mainstream media like CNN, MSNBC,
trash,
just garbage TV. I mean, I think they said when Beyonce was endorsing that night Kamala on CNN, she got 500,000 views. That same Friday night, Genius, Trump came out on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And had millions of views in the same amount. It was unreal. Would they say 10 million downloads an hour?
Yeah, it was insane. And it was so good.
Interview. I mean, whoever set up his calendar in that order where he was interviewing JD Vance, and then this was great. He had Fetterman. Yeah, he had Fetterman because Fetterman showed he has no clue what's actually happening in Congress, in our country, at the border. He was just so oblivious.
Yeah.
And then the next one rolled out was Trump. And then the next one was Elon. I mean, and then he endorses Trump. I was just like...
He was smart doing that because Rogan... being a Democrat, being in California, and then switching all that, he had a huge fan base across the lines.
Yes.
And so by waiting until that last very day to, the day before to endorse him, let enough people on the other side watch all those. Or if he had endorsed him early, they would have tuned him out then.
Correct.
And like, you're a quack, you're crazy, we're not listening.
And it would have given mainstream media time to go in and pick it apart and all of those things.
But there was nothing they could do at that point.
No.
They say that Barron set all these up.
I love this.
They said that he's the one that's responsible who gets invites to Mar-a-Lago at those events.
It's so good.
And who his dad did podcast for. And he was just like, you have to go on Rogan, you have to go on Sean Ryan, you have to go on
Theo Vaughn.
Yes. Obviously it did Tucker.
Yes.
You have to do all these. This is what's going to make the difference. And I mean, truly.
It was unreal.
That grassroots thing, because it appealed. People are tired of the news telling us what we have have They want the kitchen table talk.
There's no giving facts. There's no,
and none of these.
Here's an open conversation.
Politics.
Correct.
All of these podcasts.
Yes.
Were let's get to know you as a person. And
yes, and again, like you said, when you're doing podcasts for 3 hours, you get to actually know a person. And let me just say, Joe Rogan did invite Kamala.
Yes.
And she said the only way she would do it is if he came to her and it could only be
45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
You can't do anything.
And he goes, you can lie and BS for 45 minutes.
Correct.
But when you hit 1 hour and 2 hours and 3 hours, you can't.
Yes.
He's like, you cannot do that. So only giving me 45 minutes.
He said that's not worth it.
No. It's not going to give me anything.
Right.
And I agree with him. Why should he travel? The whole point of the Joe Rogan show is that studio.
Correct.
That. And
yes, the setup, everything.
Yeah.
And then you've got, even on social media, you've got House and Habit, you've got I Am Link.
Yeah.
All of these independent
that are not
avenues.
Paid by anybody but the people.
Correct. Make no mistake, they are not paid by anybody. They were given free reign to go into these events to
tell it like they saw it.
Yeah. They weren't going to be, swayed one way or the other. They were like, yeah, come in. We welcome you. Say what you want. Yeah. Share what you want. Come as you are.
That, like House and Habit particularly, or even I Am Link will do that. They might lean more towards a conservative side. Not always, obviously.
Yes.
They were very liberal. But they still would be nice about what they were wearing. Or like they still would say nice things about the other side. They still asked to go to the other side and all that kind of stuff.
And again, that's the other part. They asked for invites to the DNC. They asked for invites to these open forums, to Oprah's town hall, to wherever. And guess what? They were told no. No. Every single time. So what does that say when one side is trying to be open, transparent?
Yeah. I also just don't even understand how are they that oblivious to what American people are doing? Why would they not have done any of these podcasts?
Well, they did call you her daddy.
Call her daddy.
Did you also see that they dropped how many million?
$100,000
just to build a set?
And the girl's thinking we're a hoodie.
And she's in a hoodie, with a claw clip.
I'm like, why? You with the vice president of the United States, and you're like, I'm gonna wear a sweatsuit with a claw clip and sit cross-legged. I was like,
even Theo Vaughn put on a freaking blazer,
button down.
When he talked to the president, okay?
I mean, he did talk about some funny things, but at least put the button down. Even Joe Rogan put on a button down because somebody made a comment by like, man, Joe Rogan's had to wear a button down 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Because he did it for JD Vance. And
yes. It's bananas, but
how did they I just don't understand, how did they miss the boat? I
don't think they missed the boat. I think it was intentional. I think that they thought the American people were dumb enough that we would believe whatever we were spoon-fed by mainstream media, by paid influencers, and that's what and celebrities. I think that they really thought we were that stupid.
And I mean, in reality, there's a good chunk that still are. I hate to say that because I love to read comments, and even in our local pages, the comments underneath are so ignorant. So ignorant. Like they'll be like, I can't believe people voted for him. He called our military suckers and losers. And I'm like,
that's been debunked how many years ago?
For like years. Yeah. You sound stupid. Why are we even bringing that up?
Again, because they're so brainwashed by what CNN and MSNBC and these just solid outlooks are saying and regurgitating over and over to them. And they refuse to have any kind of personal responsibility to go and look otherwise.
They're all kind of scrambling now. I feel like they're all like now at each other. Like they're all.
Well, first of all, the Democrat Party as a whole is trying to blame each other.
Yes.
Blame Biden for not dropping out soon enough.
It's no longer Trump's fault. You notice?
Yeah, isn't that wild?
It's no longer Trump's fault.
It's so crazy to me because here, I'll say 2 things about this. Number one, honestly, if she would have come out, if Kamala would have come out and distanced herself from Joe Biden and said, listen, he's messed up, we've messed up,
it would have been a much tighter race.
I apologize. We're going to do some things differently. I think she would have had a better shot.
Agree.
Honestly.
I think they would have had a better shot leaving Biden.
Yes. And the other part of this is the biggest takeaway that the Democrat Party should get from these results is, hey, we've got to restructure. We are so far left. We are so far progressive that we've got to rein it back in because obviously the American people are not getting what we're putting out.
But they've built an entire platform on identity politics. And it's hard
they're not going to do it. They can't because the people on identity politics, they're the loudest in the room. And they're not.
Did you see AOC removed her
pronouns?
Yes.
No, she didn't.
Yes, overnight she removed her pronouns.
No, she didn't.
Her all her social media things.
What a win.
I was like, these are going down.
And they're going to come out as fake. They're going to come out, as bought and sold.
Yeah.
They're just mouthpieces.
I think they're also going to come out lying to gain favor with who's now in office.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be hard. Those of us that are involved, we know we can see through their crap. We're not buying that. But I think that they're going to try and...
Well, because they, again, if they're smart and they want to retain their seat the next go-around, they're seeing these results come out.
Yeah.
And they're saying to themselves or their staff or, campaigns, hey, we better reel this in at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Because obviously who we were pandering to didn't turn around and vote for us.
And I've only noticed AOC. I cannot with her, but I've been watching her stories.
Oh, I know. Did you see?
And she's just very I really am interested in why, if you're a Democrat, why did you vote for Trump? Why did you vote for Trump and then down the Democratic Party line for the rest of it?
Yeah.
I would really want to learn. She's just really playing into, I'm here to serve and I'm here to help you. And I'm like, you are a lunatic. Yeah.
I cannot.
So I'm curious. I wonder how many others are now doing that game to try and.
They're going to have to start if they're not already.
But I feel like all the people that Trump's put in place, it's going to clean house.
Oh. Well, okay. So tell me this too. How were you feeling leading up until Election Day? How did you feel like the day? Yeah, the day before.
I was pumped. I was confident.
Yes.
My best friend, she kept picking him and her husband. They're like, "You are ridiculous. We are not going to win." Everyone was like, naysayers, and I was like, "Nope, nope. We got this. We got this. We're." Yes. And I stayed up till 3:45.
I love it.
I was not going to bed.
Did you also not feel such a huge shift of, especially Christians and conservatives? I mean, when you had huge movements of prayer over the weeks leading up until Election Day.
It's true. We went to the community prayer at the courthouse.
Yes.
And it was just so good to see that many people show up just to pray and worship.
Well, honestly, when it comes down to brass tacks, it's a spiritual battle, and this election,
good versus evil, the whole thing.
It's just roped into that. And so when you know that, for me, it came down to, okay, right, our family's going to be fine either way, right? Like, we ultimately know who's in control, which is Jesus. But for me, it was, all right, God's either going to give us mercy and grace and let us have a moment to see if we can get back on track. Yeah. Or the judgment's coming and he's going to let the cards fall. Yeah. And either way, it would have been fine. But obviously, like, flesh me, family me, all of the things are like, okay, this would be so good for our family and just so easy on our kids and, you know, our children's future and all of the things. Exactly. And so, I mean, leading up and even the day of, I said, I'm not going to scroll social media because there's nothing that can be done or said at that point anyways. Everybody's made up their minds and they're going to the polls. And I just turned on worship music. Exactly. And I said, I'm like, okay.
I didn't look all day. Mom, when they were like, "Oh, have you looked at all?" I was like, "Nope, I'm not looking at all. Yeah, I'm good. We're enjoying today."
Well, it's so funny.
It's not going to change anything, and I'm going to have a day of peace.
Yes, it's true. You know, but then you've got election day.
I did wear Trump head to toe. We had to go to the orthodontist.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yeah,
nice.
We went to a few places.
Well, Dawson had a basketball game that night. Everybody had their MAGA American flag red. Yeah. You know, you could see as they were coming in the stadium or in the ball game, they were like, I see, you know, like all of the hand signs, like, are you praying? Like all of the things. And oh my gosh.
Just so great.
And I think not only was it awesome to see the results and how everything played out, but honestly, I wasn't sure we were going to get them that fast.
I was. So earlier in the day, they were like, "Do you think?" And I have it. I was a Marco Polo, so I have it recorded. I was like, "I think we're going to know by midnight who wins this thing." And they're like, "I don't think so." And I'm like, "No, I think by midnight, where it's too big to rig. It's going to be so big, they're not going to be able to, do any of that nonsense."
Yeah, dump.
And we did know. I think I actually said 2 a.m. because I thought with the polls, would be midnight out in out in so I said 2 a.m. and we knew at 1:10. I mean, and Fox called it at 1:10.
Yes, and if you watched Charlie,
I was only watching Charlie Kirk the whole night. That's all I watched.
He crushed it, man.
That's the only way it should be done.
Correct.
The only way it should be done. Watching them do the math.
Yes.
And because they had placed people in every single voting place that was going to be a problem.
Yes, absolutely.
So they knew going in, there's only this many votes that can come in.
Right.
This many votes have early voted. This is all that could come in. They could do the math right there.
So fast.
And to watch him cry.
Yeah.
When they announced it.
Yeah.
It
was like
so much better.
I mean,
he made all of us cry.
Yes.
It was like we all collectively breathed and let it
That's what it was. Yeah. I woke up. I was up till 12:45. Ryan had to be on a flight to Detroit at 3 a.m.
Oh,
so
terrible.
So we woke back up at 3, and I looked at my phone, and I start screaming, and he's like, "Hey, Ryan, you're gonna wake the kids!" And I'm like, "I don't care."
Jet got up. He came in. He's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then he sat there with us while we watched Trump's speech, which was just so great.
Yes. Okay, what? A week and a half has gone by. I don't know about you, but I just feel so much lighter.
Yeah.
So much less stressed.
And hope. I feel like we feel hope of things that we can do in the future because there's so much we were holding back. Like, I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I don't know.
Well,
like even we booked a trip to New York City for Christmas, and we paid for insurance on everything because we're like, if he loses, we probably won't go on this trip.
Yeah.
Like so many things like that.
And just again, how it rolled out. Not only did he win electoral college, popular vote, the House, the Senate. I mean, first of all, this was totally Jesus.
Yeah.
Because if you look back, if he would have won in 2020, he would not have been able to accomplish anything.
No, we
wouldn't have the House. We wouldn't have the Senate. It would have just been another repeat of impeachments and all these made up things, whatever. But now to have a clean sweep. And, I made a post or a comment about, I honestly believe too, so many people who sit back and don't wear the hat, don't talk on social media, don't have the yard sign. They were sick and tired of being called garbage, Nazis, all of the things. They were sick and tired of their money not going as far, just such divisiveness. And they were the ones that on election day showed up to vote.
They were no longer the silent majority.
No, they went and voted. Then they went back into the shadows. They didn't say who they voted for. I can't tell you how many DMs and messages I had that said, that was me. That was me. That was me. And they freaking showed up.
They squashed. And I think that's why I said it. The next day, I was like, just so everyone knows, I'm going to be obnoxious about this win. Obnoxious.
Yes.
Because for 8 years, we have been treated like trash.
Right. And it's so whatever if you wear a MAGA hat out in public.
People stare at you. Even ones that might have supported you are just like, just because they don't want to be associated because it became such a negative connotation if you had that, even though it wasn't. And most people, obviously the majority didn't think it was.
Yes.
So I do hope that, and I think that this showed people that they can say no to transitioning children. They can say no to all these causes that they felt like they just had to quietly accept because that's what they were told to do or else they were treated badly. This has woken that giant up.
I think so. And it totally negates the mainstream media's narrative of we're a country divided.
Right.
Baloney. Look at those numbers.
Yeah.
Look what happened. He won everything, red across the board, above and the beyond.
Popular vote.
Yes. You can't sit here when he wins the popular vote. It's an overwhelming majority. We are not a country divided. We are actually the exact opposite. We are all common sense and on the same page for the majority.
Yeah.
So I hope that at least gives people some peace of mind.
Yeah, I hope so.
When they do go out in public and hear rhetoric like that, and you can sit here and say, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Like that, these numbers, that does not equal that.
My kid wears Trump socks the next day. He's like, I'm wearing my Trump. They're like big, tall socks. Trump's face.
It was Carter's birthday election day, my middles. So he got a killer birthday present, which was awesome. And then the next morning, because we had woken up, when Ryan was getting ready at 3, so I went back to sleep.
Yeah.
And Dawson wakes me up at 6:15, and she bursts in the room. Trump won! I turned on the news, and I'm like, yes,
that's right.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
What a relief, honestly.
Yeah, I think we should call out the few people. I think this election, Scott Presler.
Let's talk about him.
So Scott Presler is just a campaign. I mean, he just worked on.
So he became known when he did just a service project in Boston where he went and cleaned up so many thousands of tons of garbage in Boston. Just
really?
On his own volition, grabbed teams, grabbed volunteers, and did this incredible clean sweep of that area. Okay. And then somehow he got started on registering voters. That was his next just pet personal project that literally snowballed into him teaming up with the RNC, with Laura Trump.
Yeah. And his goal was to
flip
Pennsylvania. That was his main goal, was I'm going to flip Pennsylvania by registering voters. Interesting thing about him is he is a single gay guy.
Yeah, single gay conservative.
Single gay conservative. Got this long hair, very
rock and roll, like total vibe.
And he is responsible for signing or registering all of the Amish.
Yes.
Can you believe all of the Amish were registered to vote because of Scott Presler, who went into those communities, sat down with them, explained the situation. And it wasn't, I mean, when that Amish farm got raided,
with the raw milk, which is
that
so
helped.
Dumb.
But he was able to go in, and then he helped get them to the polls with buses and all that, because they will ride on a bus. They just can't drive a bus.
Yes.
So I think Scott Presler probably was.
He needs a presidential Medal of Honor.
I mean, he was key in that. And then Charlie Kirk with the younger generation, because this was the highest amount of that under 30s that had ever voted.
Insane. Exit poll, I think young voters, like, is it Gen Z, was up. He was plus 10 points.
Which is insane for that age category.
And specifically, Charlie Kirk targeted all the swing states.
Swing state colleges.
Yes. So Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan.
He did North Carolina.
North I mean, who else did we have? Nevada.
Yeah.
I mean,
so he went to all of those colleges, set up booths.
Yes.
And just dialogued with college kids and helped help them see truth over just rhetoric.
Yes.
And so between those two,
again, both of them,
and those are both grassroots. Charlie Kirk has been doing this since the last election.
Yes.
He was like determined that we're not going to have. Yeah. He had 220,000 people or something ridiculous stationed across the entire country, working at polls.
Working at polls, chasing ballots,
and making sure that the numbers were right, because he was not having that. So in 3.5 years, he grew Turning Point.
Yeah.
Turning Point is his
organization. Yes.
Unbelievable.
Well, and that just goes to show you, hands down, Grassroots beats paid endorsements, beats.
Yeah, people want to feel heard.
They do.
They want to feel heard, and these ones got it, just like Rogan and House. They did it on a bigger stage.
Correct.
These guys did it hands and feet, just knocking on doors.
Yes.
Talking to college kids, come up to the mic, ask us some questions.
And you even look at, if you run House and Habit's numbers, where she started in the thousands.
Yeah.
And now her page is getting over 1 billion views.
Crazy. And that's more than,
what'd they say? That's more than New York Magazine or New York Times.
And another one.
Yeah. Maybe Washington Post.
Something else, yeah.
But it was wild.
And it's crazy because so many, like, I started following House and Habit with Britney Spears way back when she did that. So I was following her from way back then.
Yes.
Through all those other ones. So to have that switch, man.
Well, and I think too, to piggyback off of, Scott Presler and Charlie Kirk and what they're doing and how they did this in the last 3.5 years, that right there is also very telling that you can't just stop and pump the brakes now that Trump's won.
Now we have 4 years to set up JD Vance.
That to set up, again, to keep who we want in the House and the Senate, but also local election wise.
Huge.
This is a game changer.
And I was thinking that, I mean, just what you and I have done on the podcast and on our own stories. Think of how many you and I have convinced people to register to vote. Yeah, I've heard from a handful of people that are like, I'd never voted before until I heard all your stuff. So it's so, anybody can do it.
I had a mom call me the day before the election, okay? And I probably had not talked to her in like 10 years. And she said, and I thought, well, at first I thought it was a butt dial. And I called her back and she said, okay, I did not butt dial you. This is serious. And I thought, oh my gosh, what? And she said, I have never voted before. And I know this is the election that I need to vote in. My kids and my grandkids depend on this. So obviously I know president wise, but who should I vote for, on down the line? And so we talked about it. But I thought, I can guarantee you she is most definitely not the only one
so
that
many.
woke up and thought to herself or himself, if I'm going to do or vote in any election, this is the one that
and
I
I
need to
think
vote
because
in.
we all harped on that so much, like this is life or death right here.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
for the country, life or death for the country.
Don't you find it odd or weird, as the left would like to say, that in less than a week, the entire globe all of a sudden knows how to behave again?
Knows how to behave. That
doesn't make sense.
Because that's how you know when someone is scared of someone.
Correct.
And when they're not.
Yes.
And they were getting away with a whole lot of crap.
So you have Hamas calling for a ceasefire.
Yep.
Iran calling for a ceasefire.
Putin, whether to end, ready to win Ukraine.
I mean, Zelensky's already been in person to see Trump, and then you have over 60 world leaders contacted him, reached out to him.
How about all the big corporate people?
Oh my God.
Y'all running scared, Zuckerberg and all those corporate ones that
they're losing their minds. They're like, oh, we got to fall in line. We got to be Team Trump real quick.
Yeah. So.
You know, and I also find it very strange. Speaking of big tech, the day before the election, my social platform numbers tanked.
Oh,
it was garbage. And I've been having hundreds or thousands of views tank. I'm talking like 20 people.
Yeah. And I'm down to 12.
The day the day after the election,
it went up. Mine's not up like it was. It's still
not
20s.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they've done to my account.
It's crazy.
I think I might just start a new account and see if I can't grow that one faster.
You probably could.
With the one that's so restricted. And I still get restricted. Like, this account is restricted.
That's wild.
You keep posting misinformation. I'm like, January 20th, I better have that back.
Yes. I think we will. And now, every day's like Christmas.
Yeah.
He rolls out a new policy or a new plan or what piece he's going to implement.
Many things.
What?
That I'm like, I didn't even think of that.
Well, okay. First of all, the whole 250th year birthday of America.
That's so great.
Y'all, you've got to go
We should
research
plan something here.
That would be so fun.
We should just do the Young Republicans and
that would be awesome.
Something awesome.
Okay, I like it.
We'll
get on that. The fact that he, I don't know, is going to say we're banning child mutilation surgeries for anyone under 18 all across the country, and we will only recognize male and female genders, and also we will cut federal spending and tax dollars.
How about
to anyone?
Oh yeah.
What?
How about removing all the endowments on the colleges if they are talking that crap?
People are losing their
those
minds.
Upper education places, they're going to have some struggles there when they have to actually teach education.
Not Taylor Swift courses.
Yeah. Or propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So many things.
The conceal and carry law will be valid
to every state. You don't have to be
be recognized.
Where am I driving through? Oh, I can't drive. I can't have it at this one.
Because that totally makes sense.
It's so stupid.
I mean, just common sense.
And then bringing in people that are going to be like insane.
This is like
I was thinking like Tulsi Gabbard was on the no-fly list or whatever on the
domestic terrorist watch list,
and now she's the head of the intelligence agency.
What a giant big fu.
Yeah.
You know, like smack in the face.
Yeah,
check
Gates,
me now.
He's gonna be like election fraud, like
on it. You know, and
Pete, I don't know
Hegseth, for national security.
National security, yeah. Military. Taking over the military crap.
Yes. Because again, these people, these generals, these 4-stars who are 70, 80 years old, just still sitting there.
And not only that, though, they have adopted so many stupid laws to try and unify all these people that it's made us so weak.
Because
in every one of these areas.
Because when you have people in our military on TikTok, wearing their uniform, dancing and turning out as a transgender or their drag wear.
We are a joke.
What do you think China and Russia look at it? Do you think they think, oh gosh, we better not invade Taiwan or
Yeah.
Ukraine because the U.S. is going to lay the hammer.
Yeah.
No.
That
They're
military
like,
guy wearing lipstick's going to take us out.
no, they're like, y'all are a joke. Bye. Let me go invade Ukraine real quick.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
So he is, he's not messing around.
He's not messing around.
Messing around. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's just a news reporter or whatever. And I'm like, dude has 20 years in the military, two or three degrees, Harvard and Yale.
Yes, 2 or 3 Bronze Stars.
Yes, I mean the guy's brilliant. I'm listening to his podcast with Sean Ryan.
Yes,
so good.
Let alone his entire time leading up to Fox and Friends, and even on there, he has been speaking continuously to every person in all the branches, whether retired or active, getting their viewpoints, listening to them. What's good about this? What's not good? He probably knows more.
When he has 2 nonprofits too, where he takes care of the veterans, like so many.
So invested. He's invested. He cares. He has, skin in the game.
What all of these people have in common that he's put up is they love the United States of America.
Yes.
They are there to save the United States of America.
Well, it's an America First agenda.
Under the age of 45.
Can you believe that? They're not career politicians.
Nope, none of them. Is any of them in politics this whole time?
No. What? Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Why would you not?
This is the first time that people are getting hired into positions that they actually are qualified to do.
Correct. Yeah. And people are losing their minds.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer who you know, who you owe. Yeah. That's not the game. And let alone to have Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk setting out an entirely new department. That's a game changer.
That is. We are going to pay down that debt.
And isn't it strange also that, in 2020, when Joe Biden won, because we can talk about those numbers in a minute also, there was not a mass movement of conservatives or Republicans or whatever you want to call us having meltdowns and then also posting them on social media.
My favorite is Kamala's stepdaughter.
Oh my gosh.
With her
the knitting.
And she's having to put a pause on her online Zoom knitting club because she's scared. And it's too dangerous right now, but they'll reconvene at a later date. And I was
What's going to happen on her Zoom call?
It is a Zoom call of knitters.
Right?
Yes.
What are they going to do? They're online. They're not even sitting beside each other with like needles Zoom. To stab each other.
And I was like, this is a joke. I mean, I think that girl looks like a joke, but
yeah.
What are we doing? Like, this is terrible.
Well, then, we love everybody. We accept everybody. We're a movement of whatever you want to be, except if you voted Trump, I hope you die, fall off a cliff. I hope you can't afford groceries. I mean, all of the things. And then they're turning around like, why did I get fired? Why did I just get fired?
Yeah.
For wanting to cause bodily harm to someone that disagrees with you in the voting realm. What? Yeah, I mean, and again, it's politics. It ebbs and flows, right? Hopefully it doesn't ebb and flow for a long time to somewhere else. Yes. But this is a democracy.
Yeah.
That's why we are a democracy. That's why we live in the greatest country in the world and people flock over here because we have the right to choose.
Right.
And you should just be able to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But instead, you can't. Yeah. I mean, I think where we're at right now, I was laughing at the meme that had said Trump rolling out cabinet picks is now like the 2.0 version, the political version of the NFL draft.
I agree.
And I love it so much because he's rolling it out in such an awesome way.
I'm like stalking Truth Social.
Yes.
Because that's where it goes first.
Yes.
I don't want it secondhand. I want to see it firsthand.
Every day you're like, oh,
Truth Social.
or whatever it is,
It's so great.
Oh my gosh, it's freaking
been
awesome.
9 days. Is it 9 days? It's day the 14th.
How many
Yeah,
days
9 days of
feel good
buzz. Yeah,
winning.
feel like we're high.
Yes, and the fact that the world is behaving and having manners.
Although there's a little tiny part of me, a little teeny tiny part over here that's like, what are they up to?
Oh, I know, right? Well, that's the thing.
Like they might be up to something.
I'm just
they're
praying.
a little too calm.
Cover him. Cover JD Vance. Do not let anything happen to them. Yeah.
All of them just need to
make it to January 20th. And yeah. I also, a couple things. I want to talk about Melania for a minute.
For sure.
Number one, we
got like 15 minutes.
God. Okay, yes. Thank you. God, make America classy again.
Yes. My favorite clip of hers is when she was like, I don't know why I have to decorate the staying house.
Yes. And it's so true, right? Because
nobody gets to go in there.
Nobody goes in there. How many thousands and thousands of dollars do they probably spend on that?
Yeah.
And she's thinking to herself, we should feed kids in an orphanage.
I love that she is just real. Like her saying no to that tea. I know she's getting so much flack for that.
I don't care.
No, that's called boundaries.
Because this same wife and her husband were trying to put her husband in jail. They
raided her personal home.
They said things to make somebody feel so crazy in their head that they were going to go and pew her husband.
Yes.
So kudos to her for having boundaries.
And she didn't need a tour. She'd been there before.
She doesn't need a tour.
She didn't need tea and she didn't need a tour.
And she's sitting here saying, I am still a full-time mom to Barron, and I can be a part-time first lady. And I think that that's great.
I do too.
I think that that's fair and realistic.
That she did boundaries.
Yes.
And you know what? The left is so about boundaries. So much about boundaries. So this was a perfect example of this is what a boundary looks like.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. This is what a boundary is. You treated me like crap. You raided my home. You invaded my privacy. You've done all these things. I'm not having tea with you.
Yes.
We should all learn from that.
We should. And another thing, and I do want to touch on local and stuff real quick before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, did I just lose my train of thought? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. Do not squander this amazing outcome that we have the presidency, the House, and the Senate. What I mean by that is take this as a continuing education lesson in getting to know your representatives, your senators, and your local people that have been elected.
Yes.
Because they are supposed to vote based off of what you, their constituents, tell them to do.
And this is what we saw with Marsha Blackburn.
We did. Because she said she was going to vote for John Thune.
Not John Thune. I think no. The other guy.
Was she going to vote for Corn?
Corn.
Okay.
She's going to vote for Corn.
She's going to vote for Corn. Everybody's putting out PSAs. Call her office. Email her office. All of the things. And guess what happened? Even though Rick Scott didn't win, she flipped her vote. She changed and voted for Rick Scott. And that's how you do this.
Yes.
Okay.
They are there for us.
Yes.
So they need to do it. But if they don't hear from us, then they have to make their own decision.
Correct.
And she heard from us.
Exactly. And I love that. And I'm thankful that she did take what we all said and voted accordingly, which is what she's supposed to do.
Yeah. We just have to make it to January 20th with John Thune.
And that's it.
That's it. Because we can swap him out.
He either gets in line and figures it out. And if he doesn't, we have the votes and numbers come January 20th, right?
Yeah.
20th. Bye. Like, you're gone. You're ousted. Yep. It's fine.
We're voting in a new one.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick.
Local.
Kudos to Jared Weems on the school board.
This was so great.
I think we're even going to have him on a podcast.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We should see if he can do that next week.
Yeah, I think he would love that. He finally, after 2 years of trying to get this done, they passed that they are going to record visually, audioly. Is that right?
Audible.
I don't know. Okay. Whatever.
They're recording.
They are recording the meetings live, the school board meetings live. So this is huge. This was all his undertaking. He held their feet to the fire and he got it done. And I am beyond impressed.
You got a little snarky in there too.
It was good.
I was watching it live.
I mean, that's what you have to do at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
So it was real good. So that got voted in. And it was unanimous. And
correct.
2 of them said, well, I came in here voting no on this but you did your homework and you convinced us. So I love that so much.
Same.
So
Same.
Go team.
Agree.
So,
what else? Local? State? What do we want to chat?
Probably these are all too much to talk about now. So we can, hit on them another time.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
We can definitely do that. Those
None
are
of these
good.
Are
we can
special.
Yeah. Those can just go till next week because it's not pertinent that we share this. But thank you, Jesus, that we get to enjoy and have a fabulous Make America Great, America First, Make America Healthy, which is a whole other podcast topic that we will hit on. I cannot wait.
I wore my wellness club hat today.
Oh, yeah. And I've got my gold and white one. But I cannot wait for him to announce RFK Jr.
I know.
The rollout, I think we're all like this.
They said it wasn't going to be till late next week.
Ugh, we have to wait.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes. But do us a favor. Share about us on socials. Go follow Conservative Moms Unfiltered on Instagram. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Share. Give us a like. Write us a review. This is how we're going to kind of boost our following where people can hear about us. But
also buy coffee. FrontierCoffee.com.
Yes.
FrontierCoffee.com.
They are.
And buy your, what's it called again? 47 Victory Pack.
Because we're the winners. We're winners.
We're the champ.
Yes. Okay. Until next time. Talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.